charge up, bringing you the vibe, the pride, the power. This is Charge. Hey, yo, Buffalo, you're gonna love this one. Nah, I lived in a lab making this joint. Hours turned to days until it was perfect. Bill's Mafia in the house. It's the Queen City anthem, built on grit and grind. Buffalo style, yeah, one of a kind. Snow falling heavy, but the fire burns bright under them stadium lights. The Mafia ignites, we hold it down, loyal through the pain. Every snap, every hit, it's the charge we sustain. From the fans to the field, it's more than a game. It's a family, a legacy, remember the name.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Yeah, we hold it down. In the 716. Let's go. From the tailgates lit to the thunderous sound, you can feel the passion when the Bills come around. It's a blue-collar love, built tough and true. From the heart of the city to the red, white, and blue, we bring that heat, even in the cold. With every drive, another story unfolds. It's Buffalo pride, yeah, the Mafia way. Under them lights, we making plays. You feel that? That's Buffalo pride. Every fan, every play, this city rides. We built this together. We'll never fall. Bill's Mafia forever. We answer the call. Through the highs and lows, we stay in the fight. Buffalo strong, yeah, the future is bright.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Yeah, we hold it down. In the 716. Let's go. Let's go. From the tailgates lit to the thunderous sound, you can feel the passion when the Bills come around. It's a blue-collar love, built tough and true. From the heart of the city to the red, white, and blue, we bring that heat, even in the cold. With every drive, another story unfolds. It's Buffalo pride, yeah, the Mafia way. Under them lights, we making plays. You feel that? That's Buffalo pride. Every fan, every play, this city rides. We built this together. We'll never fall. Bill's Mafia forever. We answer the call. Through the highs and lows, we stay in the fight. Buffalo strong, yeah, the future is bright.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Hot on the mic, bringing it straight from Western New York to the world. This is Charge with Thomas and Sterling. Bill's Mafia, stand tall and proud. We got this.
Yo, what is up? It's Thursday night, and you know what time it is. It's time for the Charge podcast. I'm your host, Sterls, and I got my dog TD in the building. What's good with you, man?
Up, Sterls. Happy Thursday.
Yeah, man, it's Thursday, and guess what? Everyone's here. Buffalo Media Network, we're doing the damn thing. All right, we back in the saddle. You know, last week we took a little week off. You know, a little sickness, a little whatever is going on around there, influenza A, whatever you want to call it. but, and you know what? Ian's back there too. Ian is he's in the background drinking some Kool-Aid behind, you know, the back door, however you want to look at it. Ian's back there helping us out tonight as usual. The man, the myth, the legend. But there's so much going on, like, in the NFL world now. This week is kind of bananas. A lot of news coming out. We got to see Khalil Shakir get a little contract extension. We're going to talk about him. We got the NFL Combine to discuss tonight. Free agency is right around the corner, TD. And then, obviously, it might be a little mock draft. Is that what we're doing? Is we gonna throw one up? I mean, we might as well throw one up. But yeah, man. So what's good with you? What's the latest, dog?
Well, family. I had we went to a party last weekend. It's for my niece's first birthday, and my wife ended up getting sick. My father-in-law got sick. My brother-in-law's younger brother got sick. I was like, okay, and we drove home during that snowstorm, which was wild. And then I was like, well, we'll see how this week goes. Thursday came along and I literally left work at 2:00. I didn't leave the toilet. I was throwing up so bad till about 4 a.m. I was in rough shape and I felt terrible for about 2 days after. I literally felt like somebody like Mike Tyson punched my chest. So not enjoyable.
Did it feel like a hangover when he knocks old boy out?
It was rough. It was rough, man.
Dang, that's brutal. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. You want to disclose what you did today, or you want to keep that between us? How you want to go about this news?
Disclose what I did today?
Well, the Bic. You did a me today. You cut the hair off, bro.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not disclosing that. No, absolutely not. That is not happening.
Oh man, so that was just a friends and family kind of thing.
That was a friends and family type of thing.
All right.
That is smoke and mirrors, staying behind closed doors. That is not coming to the surface. Nah.
See, I gotta put you on the spot like that.
Nah.
All right. Well, hey man, we're excited about tonight's show, and thank you guys for the support and hanging out with us tonight. So, man, Khalil Shakir. I think one of the headliners this week, obviously, is the Khalil Shakir news. Before we get into his contract details, I mean, he was one of 4, 5 Buffalo Bills that, important, kind of up for extension. And they decided to get it done early. I think that's a trend for Brandon Beane and how he kind of handles these contracts. He kind of gets in front of them. And so the good news is Khalil Shakir will be here for the foreseeable future till at least 2029, which is, I'm good with that. TD, I know you're dying to talk about the contract details, so I'm going to give you the floor real quick.
Yeah, Khalil Shakir definitely. If you're talking about a guy that has earned every penny of that contract, that is that guy. He's come in, when he was drafted out of Boise State, 5th round, just unassuming, kept his head down, real family guy. Every once in a while, his mom's on Twitter. You can kind of interact with her. She is a salt of the earth type of person. I believe her name's Mona, if my memory serves me. But
yeah, it's correct.
So she's been great. And so is he. He is brought up in a great family. And, he just grinded, right? Like he did the Josh Allen thing, right? And I think that this contract it's a perfect number for the Bills, right? So it's 4 years, $60 million in this new contract and $32 million guaranteed up front. So it's about $8 to $10 million on average per year. Though really it's about, if you're taking without the guarantee, it's $15 million average, which puts him about 28th in the league. Really nice number for a guy that has been the number 1 receiver for the Bills for the last 2 years. So really, really good stuff. Pleasantly surprised that they got that number, because if we're being fair, I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think we were going to get that number. I thought potentially over 20 for a guy of his caliber. It was going to have to be, they're going to pay for potential. Right. So I think what they did was terrific in terms of number, and you're paying for potential. Right. Yep, RJ, I do have my own show. I have had my own show. Here we are. No, I think it's nice that they got it done when they did, and they got it for a fair number, because honestly, it allows them to go ahead and do other things. You lock down one of his best receivers. Josh knows that, he's got his number one target in-house for the next 4 years till 2029. That's peace of mind for Josh. They've been really trying to bolster that wide receiver room and all of his weapons. So that's got to make Josh feel good. And on the other side, it tells people that are either going to be drafted or free agents, you perform, you're going to get paid by this franchise.
Right.
You know, that's how they've kind of led by example. If you perform, if you are, I don't say a role model, but if you're not a guy that's going to cause problems, you will find, greener pastures here in Buffalo, and you'll get paid.
Yeah, I mean, I love the move. I didn't know it was going to come this early. And I know there's some haters out there who would say 20 million plus a year, you're crazy. I mean, he's not Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's not, right? But I think he's damn good for how the Bills deploy him. I think the chemistry with Josh Allen is, you said yet. Okay, come on.
Here's the thing. I've said he is the next Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the numbers actually back it up. Amon-Ra St. Brown this year, I just looked at it the other day. I didn't have it in front of me. I apologize. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 1,200 yards on 115 receptions. Khalil Shakir this year had, where am I at? Hello, where are his stats on here?
So I know where you're going.
He had 76 receptions, 821 yards. So he had 50 less receptions and only 400 less yards.
Yeah, and he almost doubled his receptions from 2023.
Certainly.
So I think that's notable.
Absolutely. So if you're looking at what he does, he has better hands than Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is some of the best hands in the game. I mean, I don't think that's questionable at this point. He's proven that year over year. And for a while, he had like a 90% catch clip, which is insane. And he is literally one of the most productive receivers in terms of volume. And that's in an offense that the Bills ran the ball with Josh Allen, with James Cook, with Ty Johnson, with Ray Davis quite a bit. So,
Yeah, I think when it comes to like comparing the two receivers, Amon-Ra and Khalil, I think, if you talk about route running, I think Amon-Ra does more in terms of I love the way he sets up his defenders, breaks off his stems, etc. Now, I think Khalil has improved this year, but I don't think he's the route runner that Amon-Ra is. He's not. I don't think he's as explosive as he is. But I mean, this was his third season in the league. I like you said, I think there's more room for growth. And also I do think, to your point, TD, I think how they used him, they didn't get they didn't put him in position like Amon-Ra was put in position, because he didn't have, I think, the weapons around him. When you have Jameson Williams and just explosive talent, Jahmyr Gibbs and those types, I mean, you're able to use Khalil as more of a chess piece. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what it looks like moving forward. I think he's a good player, man. I still think, though, that the Bills need a lot of help at wide receiver. I don't know where you are on that. Probably was going to ask you that anyways, but why don't we just get into it real quick? Like, okay, we got Shaquille Coleman. Rookie season, kind of a wash there. I mean, there were some good things there, some little inconsistency expected for a rookie, but I think it should have been better. Like, How are you feeling overall about the room just right now?
So I had a conversation actually just the other day about this, and I said, I think it's unproven outside of Shakir. Okay. And I don't think that's out of disrespect, because it's just, I love what Shakir is, right? But Shakir topped out at 70 receptions. Right? Like most teams that have a top end receiver, it's 100 to 130 receptions, if we're being fair.
Right.
And then after him, you've got Keon Coleman. Keon was good, but he's a first year receiver. He needs to prove it. He didn't have the volume this year. Granted, he had the injury, but there's a lot left there for him to prove.
Right.
Amari Cooper is a free agent. I doubt he comes back. I don't think they got what they wanted out of him. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they think that they can get more with a full off season under the belt of him and Josh Allen, but I'd be surprised. Then you got Mac Hollins. I love Mac Hollins. Everybody loves Mac Hollins. He's great for this team. He's great for the locker room. He's great for special teams. he's not a number 2, right? We saw that this year. When he was put in position to be a number 2, it wasn't good. When he was a 4 or a 5, tremendous. And then there's Curtis Samuel. I love Curtis Samuel. If you check, I literally was a banner waiver for Curtis Samuel. Ian, take that shit off the middle. It's really distracting. Curtis Samuel, it was a good when it happened moment. Like, it was one of those, like, it was so few and far between that I'm not writing home about it. So if you look at all of that, right, like, nice parts and pieces, some things that are great, but the problem is there's too many variables of inconsistency that I need more. And then when you look at if you're looking at the tight end group, like, I was a huge Dalton Kincaid. Dude, I sang praises of Dalton Kincaid.
So am I. Still.
And he left so much meat on the bone. And then Dawson Knox. Like, Dawson's turned into more of a blocking tight end. I think he should be used more in the passing game. I think he's very dynamic. But again, outside of Shakir, that's a huge bunch of question marks. And then your running back room. Is James Cook back? We don't know. Right? Like, could they trade him? Potentially. Could they? I mean, I'm assuming they'll probably try to re-sign him, but if they don't and they trade him, they save $5 million, right? Now you got Ray Davis, you got Ty Johnson, and then you can go get a running back, and there's a shit ton of them in the draft, right? Anyone you choose, there's a ton of them. So I love individually each piece. I don't love collectively. I think what they showed was great, but the problem was a lot of that was elevated because Josh Allen's so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And that can't be the case. Like, you need somebody, like, look at the Chiefs game in the playoffs. You didn't have an elevating factor. If you had, and not Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs is an absolute wash in the postseason, apparently. But if you had a stud receiver on this team, like, let's say Matthew Golden, right? You have a stud receiver. I think you beat the Chiefs. I do. Because at 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter, last drive of the game, if you have any receiver that commands,
oh man,
anybody's open. Or to be honest with you, Dalton Kincaid's probably not running that route, and I think anybody else in that position probably catches that ball.
Yeah, man, I don't know, dog. I think, like, you know how people use the analogy when you talk about floor and ceiling. Like,
right.
The Bills wide receiver room is like a 6 foot room. There's a floor and the ceiling is 6 foot. Like, you just got a bunch of guys really unproven, right? I mean, the names aren't too bad, but you got to get more out of this receiving core. And I do feel like there is a level of Green Bay Packerism. And what I mean by that is how the Packers kind of fucked around with this wide receiver room with Aaron Rodgers and really didn't capitalize on opportunities to really put guys around him. We saw the likes of Jordy Nelson. You saw what's his name, Devontae Adams. Right. They kind of fell into that, and good for them. I mean, their process worked for him, but they lacked explosion for so many years, and you have to get to a place where, okay, they talk. We compare Xavier Worthy to Keon Coleman, and the Bills had him on the board, and they were going to take him. And so it's just like, when do you push the button? When do you swing for the fences? And I'm sorry, man, but like, bringing in guys like Curtis Samuel is not going to do it for me anymore. Telling me that Gabe Davis is going to step up into a role and Isaiah McKenzie is going to, we expect big things out of him. I think it's irresponsible at this point to have a guy, Josh Allen, coming off an MVP season and then just not utilize him and give him the weapons he needs on the outside.
Yeah, I understand the sentiment, and that's the tough part, right? Like, it's the same thing with, like, defensive line. Like, how long are you just going to get guys like Quentin Jefferson or Jordan Phillips, or like those guys that are transient, like, replacement level players? Why not swing for the fences? And it's tough because, one, there's very few. I mean, seldom are they available, and when they are, you have to the other team either has to be willing to trade them to you, or you have to have the ability to be able to sign them. Right. And so I think that's inherently the issue. So I think they've done what they felt was best. They've definitely missed on defensive line, but, like, in terms of wide receiver in that room, Yeah, I mean, I've said all the time, I'm not satisfied with what we have. I'm not
Right.
satisfied with where we are. I think, you know, if people are like, oh, well, we scored 30 points. Okay. And that's not good enough. Like
Right.
at the end of the day, as good as that looked this year, it was, I feel like it was a very hollow 30, if we're being fair, because a lot of that was James Cook. A lot of that was Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. It wasn't the receiving core.
Yeah,
And
the play of the offensive line. I mean, I think we got to throw that in there as well, right?
absolutely, right? Like it was a sum of all the parts. So I think there were so many games that the offense really kind of sputtered because we just didn't have guys in the wide receiver room that could, one, create separation, which has been a huge issue for this team for God knows how long, but two, that just are game wreckers, that are game changing talent. And
Right.
you need it. You need it in the NFL. Anybody that tells you differently is lying. Look at what the Eagles had, right? Like Eagles have Devonta Smith and AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert. Like, dude, they were terrific, terrific. And that's
Right.
what you need in the NFL. You need receivers that change the entire landscape of your team. And we don't have that. And Khalil Shakir could eventually turn into a stud. I think he's a very good receiver,
Mhm.
but he's not an elite level player. And I think we need that.
Yeah, I think if you said Khalil Shakir is your third best receiver, you'd be very happy with that on your team. And I think that's where he needs to slot in. He needs to be your third best receiver. You got to do whatever you can, in my opinion, to get two consistent weapons. And maybe it's not receiver. Maybe Dalton Kincaid comes into his own. But you have to Amari Cooper ain't gonna cut it, buddy. Like that.
No.
And it was a nice little gesture. Another third round pick, throwing it away, basically. Rasul.
Yeah, that was
Amari
that
Cooper.
one hurts now too. The third round pick, because man, that
Right.
would have been so helpful.
Right. So I think
Yeah.
it's time, man. But you can't build the perfect team in one off season. So I guess that begs, you made a comment. We were talking backstage, and there's this misconception that the Bills don't have enough money. They don't have any money to go get
Mhm.
players. And you go ahead and make the comment that you made backstage about how they got more than enough money to do what they need to do this offseason. There shouldn't be an excuse as to why they don't bring in players.
Yeah, there's enough moves that can be made. There's restructures. You look around on this roster, there's plenty of things that they can do to open up cap to be able to make magic happen, right? Like you can literally cut Von Miller and save almost $9 million. Like you could restructure a bunch of different guys and you're fine. There's guys with years left, push the money down the road, deal with it later. Like, and I know people don't like, kicking the can down the road. You can always make it work. The salary cap is going to keep ballooning up. It's going to keep getting bigger. There's going to be space that's going to open up for the Bills. Do it. Make those moves happen, because again, there are so many things that the Bills need to do. Like as much as I say like the roster is really good, you need another defensive end. You need another defensive tackle. You need another wide receiver. You need another corner. You need corner two. You probably need a starting safety. You probably need a linebacker. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different things that this Bills team needs. So, but to say that they don't have money is just patently false. I don't know why people say it every single year. The fact is, you should know at this point, after what the New Orleans Saints have done every single year, you can make it happen. There is always, I hate the phrase money in the banana stand, but there is.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think, we're talking about, we're going to segue to the combine. And before we get into some of the performances that's happened so far, even today, I do think, it needs to be discussed that, they say, the NFL community, they say that the free agency deals and trades are often made during the NFL combine.
Right.
And as we know, you're starting to see names pop up on these lists. We all know Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa might be released. I mean, there's a constant attraction when it comes to these edge rushers. We've seen DK Metcalf's name unofficially been thrown out there. I even saw his name in the chat here. If you're a GM, you're Brandon Beane, okay, and you got your you know, you're at one of the steakhouses in Indy or one of those bars, and you're big baller being, you need to make a deal. Who you calling, bro? What team are you calling? What player are you looking for? And you can't do Miles Garrett. So I'm gonna give you, okay, I'm gonna give you a defensive player, and I'm gonna give you an offensive player, and I'll be the opposing team, whoever you decide, and let's make a deal. Let's make a deal, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do it.
If for wide receiver, I'm gonna call, oh gosh, what's his name? The GM from Seattle.
Okay, so
I don't remember. John something.
It doesn't matter. It's whatever. Seattle GM is what we'll call him. Okay.
Yeah, I am calling the Seattle GM, and I am offering, because they don't need a running back. They probably need a tight end. I'm going to offer Dalton Kincaid and a 5th round pick for DK Metcalf and a 3rd.
Hold on, bruh. Hold on. That's surprising. You want to trade. You want to trade Dalton Kincaid.
Yep.
That's a very hot take.
Yeah.
So, okay, that trade
he's got years left on his contract. He's got perceived value, right? Because of his PCL injury this past year. And you'd be getting the wide receiver that I think that they need, a downfield threat. And I think Dawson Knox is perfectly fine. I think Dawson Knox and Quentin Morris could do fine if you wanted, or you get another tight end, if we're being honest with you. I love Dalton, but
wow.
Yeah.
You're giving up on Kincaid right now.
Yeah, I am. And it's really crazy because I have him on like 2 or 3 different fantasy teams. One of them's a dynasty. Yeah, I really would right now. I love Dalton Kincaid, but first off, that drop in the playoff game, man, that's unforgivable. Dude, that's unforgivable, bro.
I know.
Your biggest thing coming out of Utah was your hands.
I know.
And that's been a big question mark. Like, he has had some bad drops so far in his time in Buffalo.
Keon Coleman too. His hands were supposed to be really good. I scouted it. Like, dude's got hands. But no, Dalton, I mean, I that's a surprise. So you want to give up Dalton and a 3rd for
Dalton,
DK and a 5th, right?
No, Dalton and a 5th and for DK and a 3rd.
Okay, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
DK is, I believe he's almost 30 now. If I remember, hold on a sec. I believe he's almost 30. He's 20. No, he's only 27. Wow. Holy cow. I feel like he's been in the league forever. So he's 27 years old. Contract wise, he is on a 3-year, $72 million deal. And I believe he's on the last year of his deal. He is. Yeah. His cap hit. So that's where you're going. That's where you're going to probably be able to get that 3rd back, is because his cap hits $31.8 million this year. He has got a very heavy cap number, but you can add 3 years till he gets to 30, right? Like, make it a 4-year contract, 25, 26, 27, 28, and spread that number out. And to be honest with you, like I said, DK Metcalf's one of the most. He would be so good for Josh Allen because, one, you can literally, he's a big slot, so you can have him run across the middle. He can run those 9 routes, which is going to cause that separation. He has the speed, and he's a known threat. He's a known commodity, right? Yeah. Like, he automatically is going to cause fear. And now you have the opposite side. You have your big body receiver in Keon Coleman, because they're almost, crazy enough, they're literally almost the same size. Keon Coleman's 6'3", 218, and DK Metcalf is 6'4", 230.
Right, right. I mean, I always look at DK now, minus the speed, but I always look at him as not in a disrespectful way, but a poor man's AJ Brown. You know, they have a very similar. The way that they're deploying their offense, I mean, you can give DK a quick slant and he's gonna take it to the house. I mean, just that physical, hands catcher. I mean, and then you talk about downfield speed. I mean, yeah, he's that guy. He's special. I don't know if he's upper echelon receiver. I would say if I had to slot him, he's probably in the top 15 to 20 receivers in the league.
Josh Allen, he might be.
Right, right. So, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I just have a hard time, for me personally, I have a hard time letting go of Dalton Kincaid that soon, but I get it. I mean, it makes sense. And here's a sneaky hot take. I felt like Dawson Knox was the Bills' best tight end this past season. I mean, let's be honest. When he needed it the most, where did he? I mean, Dawson Knox made some big plays this year, right? And he probably didn't see the field enough, to be honest. So okay, all right. So I thought you were gonna throw in like Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I do like Jackson. I mean, he's kind of, if we're being fair, he's kind of a redundancy.
Yeah,
in
it's
terms
slot,
of
right?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think there are some other options out there that are a lot of fun in terms of guys that you could get, but I don't know. Like I just think that if we're talking players that can make an instant impact, I think a guy like him would be big. Now, if you're talking trade, I don't know if they would do it, but I would love to call Arizona for Budda Baker. I think Budda would be terrific in this defense. He's adds instant credibility back there. He can play strong safety. He can play free safety. I mean, he really provides so much versatility. He's a little older, obviously, but I still, I believe that's correct. Let me see.
I mean, he's definitely a game changer. I do like Budda. And you know what? The thing, like, I think
29 years old, and he won't turn 30 until next January.
I think you could swing a trade for a safety because I think that market is not as competitive as it used to be. I mean, you're seeing free agent safeties that are well into the third phase of free agency are still sitting on the board. Justin Simmons was a name that played well last season. Jesse Bates, he went to the Falcons as well. I mean, yeah, I think, I don't know what let's talk about the compensation for Budda Baker. What a mid-round, third-round pick, third and the fifth?
I don't even know if it's going to cost that much. I mean, Budda Baker, his contract, 3-year, $54 million deal that he just signed. Let's see. He's got a couple of years left. So it's $10 million cap hit this year, 19 next year, 20 the year after. He's 29 years old. So to be honest with you, because he has term, maybe a third and a fifth might not be that crazy, I think. The problem is safeties are such a weird market. But then again, if I'm being honest, there's so many good safeties in this draft. I don't know if I'd want to trade for a safety either. Right?
Yeah. But you got to evaluate what you're trading for. I mean, let's keep it a buck, right? In this Bills defense, a rookie safety is just not going to have the impact, right? You need a
say that, but Kyle Hamilton instantly made an impact. You just got to find the right one.
But Kyle Hamilton he's different. He is a different kind of guy. For where the Bills are going to be drafting, I just think it's going to be hard for the Bills to go out, and get a impact safety. Now, Malachi Starks is probably the name for me that I think
Nicky Manwari.
Sure. One of those two guys. But outside of that, I don't think you get the impact that you're looking for. So I think you're trading for impact. I think you're trading for understanding the defense. I think Budda Baker would thrive given his skill set in a Sean McDermott defense. So I think that you're more trading for that than anything, bringing a guy like that in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree whatsoever, and I think it's going to be tough at 30 to get the right guy, but I think this year may potentially give you the opportunity just because whether it's Xavier Watts or Nicky Manwari or Malachi Starks, there's enough guys out there that can fill that hole. And then there's also some free agent ones that definitely could work as well. But again, you're right. Like Budda Baker, and that's the one that I think for me would be like, let's go for it, just because I think this team is win now mode.
Right.
But he's an instant impact. He's a guy that, again, like a DK Metcalf, has credibility. He puts fear into people's eyes, right? Like you can't just chuck it deep. That Budda's back there. So I think that's something that adds, I think, a missing element, because nobody really feared whether it was Taylor Rapp or whether it was DeMar Hamlin. Like nobody feared them. And to be honest, nobody's going to fear Cole Bishop either until he makes them fear them.
Yep, and it kind of the thing we talk about with Khalil Shakir, where I mean, take your pick, second or third receiver, that's fine. But I feel like you kind of need Taylor Rapp to be your second or third safety, or Cole Bishop,
Mhm.
one of those two together. I don't think both of them, as right now, especially in Cole Bishop's career, um, you don't strike fear in anybody. It's like
Right.
that whole that back end was rough last year. So I mean, yeah, I think those are sneaky moves. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about the combine though. Man, coming into this combine, we talked about the defensive line and just the defense, as a whole was going to be kind of stacked this year. And so far, again, we know this is what do they call it, the t-shirts and shorts Olympics or whatever. The speed though, I mean, let's talk 40-yard dashes, man. We James Pierce, we knew he was going to run a good 40, but 4.47, like, god
Nasty.
dang. That's freaking crazy.
The guys nowadays are getting faster and faster, bro. It is what it is. These guys are just freaks of nature. I mean, Kane Madrano, 4.46, Eugene Asante, 4.48. The number one linebacker in this draft, Jahad Campbell, 4.52.
Right.
A guy that is like a traditional downhill linebacker, Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma, 4.52. Like, just ridiculous numbers. And then you got some guys like Fadil Diggs from Syracuse, my team, ran a 4.57. Like, there's a ton of fast, talented, really good guys.
4.59.
So here's what I was going to say. There's also those problems where you got guys that are really fast, but you got to be careful because you can also bank on traits, and that's dangerous. Like Shamar Stewart, right? Shamar Stewart does not have any type of like stats to back up these numbers. Like, really fast, really good in these, like the 40-yard or the 40-yard dash, the long jump, like all these things are great. All these numbers look good. But if he has nothing that he's proven in college to back it up, you're banking on potential, which is fine.
I would bank.
But that's a dangerous game to play.
I agree with you, but he's a prospect that I would be more than willing to take a chance on. I mean, the Bills did it with Greg Rousseau. I mean, but when
how was that panned out?
It's panned out pretty good. that was a good gamble to me.
I know.
TD.
I love Greg Rousseau, but
you're not going to do this, bro.
I expect more out of Greg Rousseau. I really do. I really expect more out of Greg Rousseau.
What you want him to do? Like, you want 15 sacks?
I want him to stay healthy, and I want him to get for a 6'7" guy.
That's not him. You know that.
I want more.
I know, I know. But no, Shamar Stewart, I mean, I think, when you look at, the tools that he possesses, I mean, yeah, the sack numbers aren't there. But man, I would be willing to take a bet, a chance on those traits, man. I think he has really good power. He understands rush angles. I mean, you can slide him in a D tackle in third down situations. I mean, I just think he's a guy, like, I don't know if I'm spending a first round pick on him, but man, if you told me the Bills are sitting at 30 and you want to slide back a couple, picks and get kind of like what they did with Keon last year. Now, I think a team's going to take Shamar probably in the 20s, right? That's probably where he's going to slide in. But I think there's so many good. I don't think there's elite level defensive players in this draft. I think there's a lot of good ones. And I think we're going to see, like every season, every draft year, we're going to see guys slip in the second round. If he's there and the Bills have a chance to go get him, I would be okay on taking a shot on him for sure.
I like it, but I would be I'd be disappointed if you took Shamar Stewart at 30 as a defensive end when I think, and I don't normally say this, I think safety is a much bigger need at this point than defensive end. In terms of, like, if you're going to, the only guy that I think is willing, like, you're not going to get Abdul Carter, right? Like, you're just not going to.
Be nice.
But, like, if I'm going to go after a traitsy guy, I'm going after James Pierce.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I just don't want to go after Shamar Stewart. Like, at the end of the day, I would rather go after a corner, right? Like, I feel like there's going to be enough, whether it's Trey Amos or Azari, I'm blanking. there's so many good corners in this draft. There's, again, safeties, whether it's Eman Worry, Malachi Starks, or defensive tackles. And we'll talk about that, but there's a ton, and a bunch of them ran today, whether it's Kenneth Grant or Derek Harmon. I mean, you go down the list, there are so many talented big bodies, and we need a one tech. Jesus, that might be the biggest need on this team right now. So, as much as I love those super tradesy, really athletic defensive ends, I don't think it's worth it at 30 with the needs that we have. Maybe if you trade back into the 40s and get an extra pick, sure, maybe we can talk about that. But I'm not taking him at 30.
Man, you're just tough on the guy today. Look at that.
I know. I'm very I'm sad panda, huh?
No, man, listen. We're in agreement on James Pierce. I think he probably will fall. He probably will be around when the Bills pick. I mean,
I don't know, man. That 40 time and those tests that he did were pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but you're talking about a guy who had, he's kind of thin framed. I just think he's gonna. I mean, you want him to be able to put some muscle on that frame. But yeah, I mean, he has the tools. I think he has the production that backs it up. What you see on tape is real. I'll tell you what, though, with this hype about Landon Jackson,
I think Landon Jackson looks like, dude, I really, really, really believe that he looks like Max Crosby. And I don't mean just because of the tattoos, but if you watch the way he plays, his edge responsibility is awesome. And man, he's just got physical, really violent hands. He's got a crazy motor. He's such a, he looks like such a smart football player. And that's what Max Crosby is. He's great at the run, but he's also a violent pass rusher.
Yeah, I watch his tape, and it's just not consistent snap to snap. For something like you talk about Greg Rousseau being big, physical, dominating, he's a guy, he gets off the bus, you're like, damn, that's your defensive end. Shit, I'm in trouble today. Yeah, Landon Jackson looks like that. I mean, and you do see, I think that 40-inch vertical, I think that translates. I think you see the burst in that first step, you see those things.
Right.
But it's the snap to snap consistency that I'm just not necessarily a fan of right now. I don't know, man. Maybe, and I've watched 3 games of his. Maybe I'll chill out a little bit and try to check some out this weekend. But dog, I don't know, man. I just think there's a lot of hype surrounding him. I know the Bills met with him. Hell, the Bills are going to meet with everybody. They should meet with everybody on defense. I'll tell you what, though. You want to, and I'm not just being a hater, TD. Let me tell you who is just Jack Sawyer. He's not it, bro. Have you watched Jack Sawyer?
I have caught a little bit of his highlights just because he's one of those guys, one of the names that's kind of floating around. It's a name that seems to keep rising to the top. And I don't have enough of a say to be able to give you, oh yeah, you're right. But I trust your judgment because I know that you've got good eyes for this.
You're going to see they're going to start saying, he's I mean, we've seen early in the season, talking about him being a first round defensive end, but he's got some, he's not strong at the point of attack. I think he's a smart player, but I think as an athlete, I just don't see how it translates. I mean, if you want to take a flyer on him, if he's around in the 5th round, sure. But I think a team is going, he's going to go and he's going to say all the right things. I mean, the dude, even though he's an Ohio State guy, he's a good dude, and he's going to say the right things in those meetings, and he's going to convince some team to take him on a day 2 pick. And I'm just dog, I just don't see it, bro. I can't do it. Give me JTT over him.
I gotta ask you about James Pierce. Does he scare you that he might be like Deion Jordan?
I've wiped Deion Jordan's name from my memory bank. Okay. God. Hell, Aaron Maben too.
Yeah, but Deion's they're frame for frame. Deion and James Pierce are almost identical.
I know. Dude, I didn't even think about that till you said something.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mean, at his worst, yeah. I just think he's a much better player than Deion Jordan, man. He
Mm-hmm.
coming out of Oregon, man, he was supposed to be the guy. And when the Dolphins took him, I was like, oh shit, damn, they got him at number 3 overall.
Yep.
And he turned out to be not just a guy. I'm like, this crazy, man. NFL draft is just wild. So, yeah, that's I hate you for that right now.
Sorry. But James, too, I'll tell you, James Pierce is the truth, bro. I would be, if he fell to 30, fine. You have him and Greg Rousseau opposite of each other. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
just the length on those two. Your run game is terrific. Now you just find a good second round. You go ahead and get Jesus. I'd even take a flyer on Deion Walker, right? Like my guy's Tyler. I love
Deion Walker.
I like Tyleik Williams. I think Tyleik Williams is going to be a freak.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's terrific.
Ohio State. Yeah.
I think there's just a ton of really good defensive tackles, but I think if you have those two, go get DJ Jones, right? Like, do whatever you got to do. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I think those two would be terrific. They're great edge setters, but they're also, I think he would open up Greg Rousseau as becoming an even better pass rusher. So
I'll give you 2 defensive ends. We can switch to defensive tackles too. That I think they're definitely not day 1 picks, but I think, day 2, like 3rd round and 4th round, I think this is where these 2 guys are going to go.
Okay.
I definitely would take a look at Jared Ivory. Ole Miss.
Okay.
That team, they got all kind of guys on that team, and I don't know why they sucked ass. And then I know that it's not a homework take. I do the homework. Okay, Josiah Stewart, Michigan.
Okay.
Hey, that guy, you listen. He is not James Pierce, but I think he is a poor man's James Pierce. You talk about the edge, like the bendy, great hand placement. He has a rush. He has like he gets to the line and he has a rush plan. Like I vibe with that rush plan. Like he has an array of moves, right? Like it's not just the same thing over and over and over again. He's going to set you up. Josiah Stewart's going to be a guy,
Gotcha.
So those are 2 guys that I'm looking at. And then, you mentioned defensive tackles, dog. Man, this is a big man's draft, dude.
Oh, it's a great draft for it.
Dude, these defensive tackles are incredible. I mean, there's 8 good ones at least. I mean,
give me Kenneth Grant, man.
Oh, dude, stop it. Come on, dog. Kenneth Grant is a fucking behemoth. 340.
Yeah, 6'4", 340, runs a 4.95.
Dog,
yeah, nasty.
He's a freak of an athlete, bro.
He's literally he's like Jalen.
Yeah. And you know what? So coming into the season, one of the things that was kind of his conditioning, like you've seen with big defensive tackles.
I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Hold on, no. Hold on.
No. I'm just gonna say this, because I know that's a big thing. Like, they talked about, what was the big guy from last year that was like 800 pounds, that they talked about. They didn't know if he could play because he's just so big. I don't give a shit. Give me Ted Washington. Give me a 500-pound fat fuck. I don't care. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I am so tired of these tiny tweener little defensive tackles. I want some
beef.
Dude, I want a big refrigerator dude. Like, come on, bro. Like, clog the hole. I'm not here for a dude I don't need a guy doing pirouettes. I need a guy that looks like he could eat 17 cheeseburgers and like it takes up 3/4 of a king size bed. Like, whatever, bro.
But no, I get it. But I'm just telling you, like, that was one of the things. Like, he's so impactful when he's on the field. Like, Michigan needed him to be on the field a lot more. Yeah. And he attacked this offseason, or the previous offseason, heading into his junior season, dog. And he put in work. I mean, he played snap after snap. Dude was just a fucking animal. Like, so I mean, I say all that to say, like, in the NFL, you're not gonna have people, beating down your door telling you do this or this or that. I mean, there's a program you're going to have to adhere to, etc. But just the character that it takes, he goes, you know what? I need to be more available to my team, so I'm going to put the work in this offseason and do that. That's the thing that I wanted to point out. 340. Right. He's a freak of an athlete. I mean, you talk about pass rush, run stopping. I just think he's really good at that. So, Kenneth Grant, I don't think he's gonna be there.
No,
pick. I think he's gonna be
gone.
Yeah, it just breaks my heart. I would love for the Bills to just get a Wolverine shit. Give me a Michigan Wolverine. I need it. Bro. I need it.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant would be. He would solve. I hate that. Okay, I'm gonna use a phrase that I hate because like it's so annoying, and I hate these new used phrases that everybody like. He would feed families like whatever. Some stupid shit. I hate these new phrases, but that like legitimately, he would be the type of guy that would change the landscape of this Bills team.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a guy that he could be here for 10 years, wrecking shop. And he makes Greg Rousseau better. He makes AJ Epinesa better. He makes Javon Solomon better. He makes Ed Oliver better. He makes Dwayne Smoot better. And I'm assuming they'd probably bring back Dwayne Smoot. I think they liked him this past season. That dude, impact personified.
Yeah. I think a guy like Alfred Collins is a defensive tackle that I think the Bills should take a look at. I think you can get him. And I obviously there's a trend here. I'm looking at, day 2, day 3 guys. I think Alfred Collins is going to go probably in the 3rd round. So
right.
I think that's a guy you should look at. Hell, Josh Farmer, he had 30-inch arms today. Like,
he's huge.
35-inch arms, excuse me. 35-inch arms. I mean, that's just insane, bro. Insane. So yeah, man, there's some defensive tackles out there. Derek Harmon, you mentioned earlier in the show. I like him a lot, bro. Former Michigan State guy, transfers to Oregon, has a hell of a season with the Ducks. And he's a game wrecker, and he plays with this chip on his shoulder, like he doesn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need some more of that, don't you think? Like, I like what Jordan Phillips brought in terms of the attitude. Like, the play was but Derek Harmon,
if you could match the play with the attitude, that'd be awesome. I don't need just a big asshole. Like, I'd like a big asshole who's also impactful. And like, yeah, Jordan, which ironically enough, there's a Jordan Phillips in this one that's very, very good too. So if you really want to go that route, Jordan Phillips, I think he'd be really, really good. 6'2", 312, big old guy. He had a really nice day today. There's a ton of them. But again, I want size. Like I mentioned, Tyleik Williams from Ohio State. He'd be really, really good for this team. The one guy I really want to stay as far away from is Walter Nolan. I don't like the fact that he didn't test today. Something really nerves me about that. I don't like the size. 6'4", 296.
He's at Oliver.
Yeah, exactly. He's tall. He's a taller Ed Oliver, and I don't like that. I don't need another tweener. I want a big body defensive tackle. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. Like I don't want 2 miniature little dudes in the middle. The NFL's changing. You're seeing that guys are getting bigger on the trenches because they're trying to combat the smaller guys that the NFL was kind of trending to like 7 years ago. So now it's pivoting back the other direction. And same thing with running backs. Look at some of the running backs coming out, right? Travion is a big ass dude. Like, right. Like I think you need to find defensive tackles that can play and win against bigger bodied offensive linemen, bigger bodied running backs. And I think that's what a Kenneth Grant presents. Derek Harmon, Tyleik Williams, Alfred Collins. I mean, Deion Walker is like the size of a freaking mountain, 6'7", 330. Yeah. There's just so many intriguing options this year.
Man, dude, this is the stuff I like. Talking draft. This is my thing, bro. Okay, so I know I mean, it's 6, it's we got like 10, 15 minutes left in the show or whatever. I mean, do you want to do a mock draft?
Yeah, I can pull one up real quick. Let's
do it. I think we should probably do one every week, every other week till the draft. I mean, it's a fun litmus test to kind of, I mean, obviously free agency hasn't happened yet, so everything changes at that point. But it's just fun to dream, dog. I love it.
Let me go ahead. Whatever the hell's going on the screen, I have no idea. We're turning into a 1995 Windows page. Okay, let's see. I'm going to bring this up. Enter full screen. Okay. What do we do? Like a 3-round, 5-round? What do you think?
Let's do a 5-round.
5-round. Okay. Yeah, so let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen real quick just so we have that. Let's see. Okay. Can we see that on screen, Ian? Can you make that work, Ian? I don't even know. I can't even see what I'm doing.
It's good. It's good. I see it.
Okay.
We need that. We need that NFL draft music from ESPN. Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. Why don't you just sing it for us?
I just might have to,
Okay.
Oh, you're good, dog.
Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the speed right there. We're going to enter the draft board, and we will go ahead. Are we going to make any trades, or are we just going to go who's on the
Straight.
board at
Let's
the time?
just go straight this time.
Okay, let's go ahead, and we're going to get all the way down and see what we've got so far in the first round. Before we get there, we're going to see what happened. Cam Ward goes to Tennessee. Abdul Carter goes to Cleveland. Travis Hunter to the Giants. Mason Graham to the New England Patriots. Federer McMillan to the Jags. Man, that's a fun offense. Shador Sanders to Colorado, or to the Jesus, not Colorado, to the Raiders. Jedi Barron to the Jets. I wonder what they're doing at quarterback there. Luther Burden to the Panthers. That's gonna be a fun offense.
Okay.
James Pierce Jr. to the Saints. Ashton Genty to the Bears. Man, what an offense! That's a bootload of fun. Will Campbell probably taking over at left tackle for Old Man Trent. Mike Green for the Cowboys, of course. Tyler Warren, a tight end for the because the Dolphins make 0 sense. They don't have any tackles, but let's go tight end. Jod Campbell for the Colts. That's a lot of fun. Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan for the Falcons. Walter Nolan for the Cardinals. Kenneth Grant. Damn, man, that's a great fit for the Bengals. Shamar Stewart for the Seahawks. Josh Simmons for the Buccaneers. Malachi Starks. Holy cow, what a defense. Malachi Starks and wow, holy cow. Emeka Egbuka for the Steelers. Matthew Golden for the Chargers. What a wide receiver room that is. Lad McConkey, Matthew Golden. Michael Williams, Green Bay, man. That defense.
That's a very Green Bay move, isn't it?
It is very, very good. Omari and Hampton that makes sense.
Yep.
They got everything they need except for a running back. Now their running back's gone. Armand Membu, tackle. Texans definitely need all the help they can get there. LA Rams, Derek Harmon. Man, talk about, you got Braden Fisks. Now you got Derek Harmon. That's a great, that's a hell of a defensive tackle room. Gray Zabel. Man, I hate that, because the Ravens really need all the help they can get at tackle.
He does.
Calvin Banks, tackle again. That's awesome. Josh Conley, tackle for the Redskins or Commanders, probably become the Redskins again. So here we go. The Bills are on the clock. And you got Trey Amos available. I don't like Darius Alexander. I am not a huge fan. Elek Manor, excuse me. TJ Sanders, Tyleek Williams, Xavier Watts, Landon Jackson. Not a lot of great options. If you want to go corner, Trey Amos is a great cover corner. He'd be good in this defense. You could always trade down, even though it's technically against what we said. But
man, dog. That's tough. Trey Amos is probably your best bet. It's a need, right? Like, was he 6'1", 6'2"? Length he can run.
Let's see. Yeah, 6'1", 190.
Yeah,
22 years old. He had a really nice year last year. He had 3 interceptions, 32 receptions on 62 targets, 280 yards. Pretty darn good season. 13 games. That's pretty good. 32 receptions on 13 games.
Yeah,
really nice stuff.
Yeah. I'd sign up for that. It's not. It doesn't make me excited necessarily. Certainly. But I get it. You're picking at 30. Like, what are you expecting? All the talent's just not going to fall to you at 30.
You have Tyleek right there if you want to take, and you could trade back a couple. Like the Chicago Bears at 39. We're looking trade back, but if we're just being straight up, Trey Amos is probably the best bet.
Yeah. Let's go Trey Amos there, and we'll do drafts with where we trade, but we'll just keep it, just generic this time since it's the first one.
Certainly.
All right, so we got our CB2. Like, I'd be okay with Trey Amos. And the thing is, though, he does give you some athletic upside too, that you didn't have at CB2 last year. So I think that's good. I'll take it.
So going on now, you've got a lot of corners. Ezra Thomas, like I mentioned earlier, Darian Porter out of Iowa, Josh Farmer from Florida, sitting right there pretty. Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina, Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, Omar Norman Lott out of Tennessee, Jaden Higgins, really good receiver, really, really nice receiver sitting there, 6'4", 215. He'd be a pretty nice add in here. So good options. I think Josh Farman, Josh Farmer certainly fits the bill and knocks two very important pieces right out of the gate immediately.
Yeah, we probably need to go with Mr. Farmer there. 35-inch arms that you heard me mention earlier in the show.
Yep.
And I think he's stout against the run. I think he definitely a lot to be desired in terms of a pass rusher, but I think he is a guy that's going to you put him next to Ed Oliver. I think he can help Ed Oliver take the next step.
Yep.
So I'll take
agree.
that. I'll take that.
Okay, so Josh Farmer is the pick at 50.
Okay.
And then we get back 62. So that second pick right there. Obviously, we don't pick again until the 4th round. So there is a couple things that we could do. We could trade back, pick up an extra pick potentially, because there is some nice players. Well, I'm just saying in future. Because if you look back, safety, like you got Nicky Manwuri, who's technically rated the number 92 player right there.
Okay. All right.
Even though I don't think that's normally accurate. You got some wide receivers, Jaden Higgins here, Travion Henderson, really, really nice option right there. Quinshon Judkins, excuse me. I feel like his name sounds like one of those Key and Peele names. Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, it is. Quinshon Judkins.
He has like a unibrow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, so there's a lot of options right here. You got running back, obviously, and if you want to go defensive interior again, Norman Lott's a good one. Josiah Stewart's there. That's your guy you had mentioned.
Yeah.
As a defensive end, Travion's option right there. So lots of stuff to pick through.
I almost feel like we got to go Travion.
Okay.
And here's why I think that, because as much as I want to go edge right here, I think you need to give, like, you don't know how this James Cook situation is going to play out. And at any moment, just because, and he's being kind of vocal in the media, as we know, I mean, that's okay, but I need a hedge here. And Travion is going to give you the pass blocking. He's a really good pass blocker. He's very consistent catching the ball in the backfield. He has speed. I really do. I thought he was the RB1 coming out if he came out last year. And to be honest, like, I know everybody's infatuated with some of these other guys, but I still really do feel like Travion's your best running back in this class. And that's just, I know it's crazy, but I think, dude, overall back, I think he's it. I'd take Travion. I even look at Quinshon Judkins, but if Travion is available, I'd take him.
Yeah, I think that's the move right there. That's obviously barring that James Cook is not back, and I'm sure you could probably find a place for James Cook, whether it's releasing him and saving $5 million or trading him to somebody and getting a pick. I think there's multiple options there. So now you're back up here, and let's see what kind of safeties are available. Billy Bowman Jr. is the next one up
my
on the
guy,
board.
bro. That's Upton Stout's my dude, but
Upton Stout is available, but you got a little bit before that goes. Ashton Gillette out of Louisville.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant is a bit of a favorite out of Kansas. Really, really nice corner there. Jamari Caldwell, guy that had a really nice day today as well. David Walker out of Central Arkansas. Baron Sorrell, again, another guy had a pretty good day. JJ Pegas, he had a little bit of a showing today. There's a bunch of guys that you can get in here and fill some nice holes. Jalen Noel from Iowa State. Another option in terms of wide receiver, 5'11", 200 pounds, a little bit faster of a receiver. Definitely fills a need for sure. So, bunch of different ways that we could look and go in this direction. What are you thinking?
Man, I want a player with the most upside here. I think going for need here, ain't it? I don't know, TD. That's tough. What are you thinking?
I think wide receiver is definitely an option here. I think corner is definitely an option here. I think an edge is a great option. I could go any which way. I'm not really pigeonholed into any one of these things. I think there's a bunch of different really good. Normally, probably what I would do is probably trade back.
Right.
Ahmed Hassanine is really nice from Boise State. He had a great day today, actually. Antoine Powell-Ryland, really good out of Virginia Tech. I think there's a lot of guys that fit a need here. in terms of what they can do. So I think we could get Antoine probably in the next pick. So if you wanted to do something here, I think anyone like Jamari Caldwell, get another defensive interior, I think is fine.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So Jamari is 6'1", 340. He's a bit of a big boy.
It's a big boy. I like that.
So definitely fits the need right there. And then we could go defensive end. I think going defense heavy here is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And like I said, you got some good guys here that are still available. So you take any one of the options. A bunch of the defensive ends, actually, it looks like they all went. Wow. Let me go back here and take a look. Who went right after us. I'm going to scroll down real quick. Our last pick, Jamari Caldwell, and yeah, literally every single one that we liked went just before us. So let's see what edge defenders are available. Defensive ends. Olufemi Oladejo is the next best one, and he is 6'3", 250. So big boy.
I like that.
Nice season.
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, 7 sacks, 19 hurries, 7 hits. Had a pretty decent season, all things considered. So let's go ahead and we'll draft him to start out, and then maybe we can look at a wide receiver in this next pick, which
available. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, pick 171. Let's see if Horton is available here. We also could go quarterback, which is a nice one. He is not available, unfortunately. The next one available is Antoine Wells Jr., Caden Prather, Shamir Dyke. Yeah, not a lot of good ones here.
Jimmy Horn.
Or you could go any one of the ones. Yeah, Jimmy Horn, Will Shepard, DeJounte Wester.
I like Jimmy Horn a lot, actually. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people.
Jackson Meeks is somebody that I think is going to be really good. He had a nice little quiet year at Syracuse.
Okay.
Yeah. He had 77 receptions, 1,020 yards, 7 touchdowns, and an offense that ran the ball a ton. Yeah. And they also had you remember Rondé Gadsden Jr. I think we mentioned this before. Rondé Gadsden's son.
Plays
he was
for
also
Syracuse,
in that offense.
right?
Yeah. So they had a lot of weapons. This year.
Kyle McCord slinging the rock.
And there's a Rondé right there. 215.
I'm good with taking a receiver. I want the receiver with the most upside. Like some speed.
Yeah. So I believe, let me see what let me see. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to figure out what Jackson's 40 time is supposed to be.
I haven't done. He's not one of the guys I've scouted, so I couldn't tell you.
4.47. It looks like. He's not
he is like Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. So we could see what guys are the fastest in this group. Antoine Wells Jr. The problem is I haven't spent any time on any wide receivers because I've just been focusing on every other position.
I feel you on that.
We could also go like Danny Stutzman's here. Kyle McCord is a great option in terms of a backup quarterback. I know everybody talks about wanting to get a quarterback every once in a while. Hopefully just have a guy.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, because it's cost controlled and you can get a guy that you can groom behind Josh Allen. I mean, hell, when's the last time our backup quarterback actually played meaningful snaps? I mean, it's been a minute. So
let's go Kyle McCord.
Let's do
really good quarterback. Definitely a little different stylistically than Josh, but I think he provides a nice option there. And then again, you're back here and go any different direction. If you wanted to go wide receiver, I think there's some nice options. Let's talk Caden Prather, 6'3", 210. That's a big boy. I don't think you need to go receiver. I like Jackson Meeks. What do you think about Jackson Meeks?
Let's another Q's guy.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm going to go ahead and take Jackson Meeks. He's
there.
Way later than he's supposed to be. Probably go undrafted if we're being completely transparent.
Sure.
Probably going to get an F for that. Yep. Got an F for that.
Whatever. It's fine.
But so right there, you got Trey Amos at number 30, Josh Farmer out of Florida State, defensive tackle, Travion Henderson, running back at Ohio State at 62, Jamari Caldwell, another defensive tackle out of Oregon, big boy, Olufemi Oladejo, defensive end out of UCLA, and then back-to-back Syracuse guys, Kyle McCord, Jackson Meeks. So nice little mock draft, and we'll continue to do those each week. We can adjust, and this is just we're going to pick where we're at next time. Potentially we'll get into some more trades and get a little bit more crazy with how we handle things. But I think that was a nice start.
I do, man. And I like, rebuilding that defense. If this is the approach that they have to take this offseason, and we're not even talking about free agency, right? We don't know the free agents that are coming, but if that's what
Right.
you get out of the draft this year, like you can hang your hat that Travion Henderson, that's going to be an impact player on offense, right? And you got
Right.
two guys, you got a corner that I think is going to be really good, and a defensive tackle that I think can really hold the fort down. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a good position to be in. But I think that that just about wraps it up. We're at 9:07 p.m. I think we've covered a lot between the Shakir news, obviously, with this combine and everything going on. There's going to be a lot of stuff moving forward in the next couple of days. Probably hear more about free agency, any trades, maybe a Myles Garrett news, but a lot of stuff to cover and a lot of stuff moving forward, brother.
Yeah, man, it's fun. We're gonna be, like you said, we're gonna be talking about this each and every week. So, make sure you guys stay locked in and loaded, to the Buffalo Media Network. Give us a like, follow, subscribe. And if there's topics or things that you guys think, hey, could you guys talk about this, or an in-depth analysis of a player or scheme or whatever, man, just let us know. I'll be happy to jump on that for you. TD, what else you got, dog? You good?
That's all I got, man. Nothing too crazy going on right now. Obviously, we're going to keep this up moving forward. Check up on my Twitter at the Thomas DeLoss. I got a lot of stuff going on there all the time, and make sure to follow for Sterling over at Furrow Sterling. Not as active on Twitter. Hopefully, a little bit more in the next couple weeks.
I'm just not a social media guy.
I know. He's a very social guy, just not a social media guy. But I just keep tabs there. We'll be talking. Definitely follow me, and make sure you follow us here at Buffalo Media Network and the Charge Podcast. And we got some new stuff coming up next week. A brand new show, the Unbelievable podcast, is going to be starting up next Wednesday night. So excited to get that on the docket. But excited stuff moving ahead. We're less than 10 days away from the start of free agency in the NFL league year. So we are on the precipice of some exciting times.
We'll have a free agent extravaganza show that I'll be hosting.
I like it.
Yeah. So make sure you guys tune in, man. We're gonna be doing the damn thing the whole off season, no breaks. All right. And with that being said, stay in peace. Go Bills. We out of here.
See ya.
Hot on the mic, bringing it straight from Western New York to the world. This is Charge with Thomas and Sterling. Bills Mafia, stand tall and proud. We got this.